I started in the fall of 2012. I was the first founding executive director. When I was hired, there were 5 founding foundations who started the Funder Alliance. And it was the Chicago Community Trust, the Joyce Foundation, the Polk Brothers Foundation, the Lloyd A. Fry Foundation, and the Robert R. McCormick Foundation.
My initial involvement with the Chicagoland Workforce Funder Alliance was really back in the early days. I like to think of myself as one of the founding mothers of the Alliance. It all began at this meeting at the Joyce Foundation where a number of local funders came together. And it really was the first time that funders had come together to talk about what we were working on. And it felt radical at the time. But it really was a question of what are you investing in and why? What's the impact that you want to have? And as we went around the room, we discovered that we had overlapping interests and overlapping ideas. And so the idea that we could come together and talk about that was really amazing. And then it turned out that we could do more than just talk about it.
As part of the management committee of the Funder Alliance, we would come together as colleagues to explore different issues in the workforce development space, explore what were the strategies that individually we were all pursuing, but then also to think about collectively what could we do together that individually inside of our foundations we couldn't necessarily support. It was very rewarding to be in a space where we could look into projects that were from data analysis and research to funding grassroots projects that were activating people's voices. I thought it was through this table that we were able to see a more complete picture of the gamut of what workforce development is.
3 points of impact rise to the top when I think about the Funder Alliance. One is our elevation of worker power as integral to workforce development. The second is our elevation of the concepts of multiple pathways to post-secondary success. And the third point of impact is the elevation of the idea that employer collaboration leading to employer practice change is essential for workforce development to have long-lasting impact on things like closing the racial and ethnic wealth gap.
No matter what indicator you look at in workforce development, there are racial disparities, whether that's access to high quality employment and training, wages, employment, or barriers to employment like lack of transportation or lack of childcare. Racial disparities hamper growth for everyone. So if we reduce racial disparities, if we address them, that is not only good for Black, Brown, Native American populations who disproportionately experience unemployment, but is good for all of us.
We've partnered with the CWFA to bridge racial equity gaps in a number of ways. I think importantly, we've zoomed in on financial practices and ways in which to elevate how City Colleges makes key investments in individuals to support their journey towards a certification or degree. We've also partnered to think about sector strategies in ways that will impact the diversity of key sectors of our region, including advanced manufacturing. We're now starting to zoom in on logistics, all key opportunities for our region's economy.
A unique attribute of the Funder Alliance has been its acknowledgement of the necessity of having a dual customer approach to workforce development, to really recognizing that the two customers are equally as important, and those customers are the business community and the job seeker community. That many organizations like mine tend to focus on one or the other. The Funder Alliance has always valued this integration of workforce with economic development, meaning prioritizing both areas, prioritizing the business side and the worker side. Neither is more important, but both are equally vital to the success of our economy.
One of the best things about working with CWFA is the ease with which we can form partnerships and work as true collaborators. In a city that has so many different initiatives, it's often challenging to find people who are willing to put their own interests second and the interests of the mission first. And CWFA does that naturally. They bring not just their own team, but their business partners to the table, and the question is always, what are we trying to accomplish and how can we accomplish it? Not who's getting credit or who's leading something. That's special and that's important because we need to bring people together and find ways to work together collaboratively if we're going to solve our biggest problems.
In the next 10 years, I hope that the Funder Alliance will continue to lift up opportunities to make greater connections across our workforce, education, and career systems with employers at the table. That is a huge need still. There's been good progress made, but we still have a long way to go. And I always think about the workforce system from the learner's perspective, the worker's perspective. We still haven't gotten to the place where somebody who lives here in Chicago can find an easy way to get from where they are to a place where they feel fulfilled and well compensated for their work. And I have huge hope that the collaborative approach that's at the heart of the Funder Alliance's ethos will be an enabler of continued cohesion and connectivity across systems that will make it easier for any learner, any Chicagoan, to find their way to a fulfilling career.
It's been so interesting to become the CEO of the National Fund for Workforce Solutions and to see the role of this collaborative with that member network of 34 communities, because we really see what happens in Chicago and people want to imitate it. Chicago really is the trendsetter. People look at the work that's happening here and say, how can we get involved in raise the floor, or how can we get involved in construction? And I'm very proud that my hometown, my home city, is the city that people look up to.
My call to action over the next 10 years is collaborate. Employers need to recognize that no one has the answers on their own. They need to collaborate together, and through collaboration, they will find the workforce solutions they need to succeed in tomorrow's economy. Community-based organizations, workforce agencies, workforce advocates, collaboration is the only way that we can present as a system and serve the residents of our region in the way that they deserve. And for funders, collaboration is the only way to invest successfully in the kind of systems changes that we need in order for our other philanthropic investments to have maximum impact.